Hi guys! It's really good to see you. I'm really excited to share an activity with you today. It's going to take a couple of materials that hopefully you have at home. This is all stuff that I had at home, and I don't even have like toys or games to play with, so I really believe that you probably have this stuff at home. So the first, my head's gonna duck down a little bit. The first thing that you need is like a plain piece of white paper. I happen to have watercolor paper because every now and then I like to paint with watercolors. But you don't need watercolor paper for this. Watercolor paper is just a little bit thicker, so it holds the water a little bit better, but you can use just a plain old regular piece of paper. Speaking of watercolors, you will need some watercolors. If you have the liquid kind that you can drop and just it's ready to go, it's all wet and drippy, that's fine. I have this dry set here, which I have to open up. Ooh, it has been well used, hasn't it? Look at those colors that I've used. Red, a lot of green and blue have been used. I really like blues, greens, pinks. I love those kinds of colors in my pictures. But, you know, today maybe we should use one of the colors that hasn't been used too much. So you will need, like I said, the watercolors. You can have the dry or the wet. Because I have the dry, and if you have the dry type of watercolors, you will need this next one, this next material. I have it in a cup. I know you guys already know what it is, but look at it. I'm gonna splash around in it. You will need water. I have a little bit of water. And the last thing you will need is also in a little tiny cup. Look at it. Tell me what you think that is. Oh, there it is. You see it's all white. Yeah, some of you might think it's sugar. Some of you might think it's what did I say? Sugar already? Oh. Some of you might think it's salt. Why don't I'm going to taste it with my finger, and you can tell me, based on the face that I make afterwards, what you think that might be, okay? Because you can't touch it and you can't taste it from all the way over there. So I'm going to taste it, put my finger in here, and you tell me, based on the face I make, what do you think that is? Oh goodness. That is salty. And it's so salty you need a drink of water. Salt is not something you really just eat like that, huh? But yeah, that is salt. So those are all the materials we need for this idea. Super easy, super fun thing to do. I know a lot of my butterflies love watercolors, and I do too. So it is so nice and fun because you can pick the colors you use. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my water, my paintbrush. It's kind of a small paintbrush. If you have a bigger one, that could be fun, or all sorts of types. Let's see. Now the first thing I'm gonna do, I think I'm just gonna put the water straight onto the paper. I'm gonna do some strokes. I have my water on my end table. There you go. And now I think I'm gonna put some color in it. So, let's see. Let's go ahead and start with some of the yellow that I never use. I'm gonna add a little bit more water. There we go. I'm gonna put it right over the part where I got it all wet. Oh, you can't see it because of the sun, but there you go. I'm right next to my bedroom window, so sometimes it'll get shiny over here. You can see my face is all illuminated, which is a fancy word just for lit by the sun. Look at that yellow. Yeah, oh, speaking of yellow in the sun, wow. All right, this time I think I'm gonna choose a different color. I wish I kind of had a bigger brush, but that's all right. I'm gonna do a different color, so I'm going to wash out my paintbrush. There you go, make it nice and wet. And let's see, what's another color I haven't used? too much of. These top two is black and brown. Maybe we'll use some of the brown. Yellow and brown. Oh, that could be like something in nature. Do you know anything in nature that is yellow and brown? Like dirt. Dirt's brown. Flowers. A lot of flowers are yellow. I'm thinking of a specific flower maybe. Can you think of that flower too? It's a sunflower. Huh. You ever seen a sunflower? It's all brown in the middle. It's a circle of brown. And then all the petals are yellow. And it's humongous. Sunflowers, they can be really, really tall. One day I think I'd like to go to a sunflower garden. I've never been to one. But I think that would be really, really fun to do. Maybe we'll have to see if we can find some in Columbus. Some more brown. And just get that all over the place. Now I don't know if you noticed, this time I did not make the paper wet before I put my paint on there. So I wonder if you can see, you know, different brush strokes. That means the different places that my brush was moving. So I wonder if you can see if there's much of a difference between when I make the paper wet and when I don't. Those are some common things that artists will do. And I'm no artist. I just watch people do it. But they like to try out different ways of painting. So I'm gonna, you know what, I'm gonna do that again where I get my paper all wet. I'm gonna get a lot of water on here. Be very careful. This is a really good idea to do this idea at a table where your paper's flat and you don't have to be holding it. But I want you guys to see what happens and what I'm doing. So that's why I'm holding it up. But because I'm doing that, maybe you might also see a big mess if I ever drop it. All right. It's a lot of water in there. You can see some of the droplets. One just fell down. So now I'm gonna wet my paintbrush again. And let's see, we have brown, yellow. Why don't we just turn this into like a nature color and use some green. Here we go. I like to dip and go back and forth a lot of times. I don't know, just what I like to do. Oh, my finger got all wet because I put it on there. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to, instead of brushing it, I'm just gonna drop it where I see a lot of water. And did you see what happened? That's where I dropped it, so I'm gonna drop it again. Ooh, it's kind of like moving and expanding a little bit from where I touch it. Yeah, I love the way that looks. I love doing that water on water thing, making my paper all wet before I put the color on there, because I like the way that looks. I love just watching. Here, I'll do it again. I'll make the paper really wet. I love just watching. I'll make it really, really wet. Just watching like the little tip right there. It's all green. Oh, you can't focus. And I just love watching. Just gently. Ooh. Ooh, I love watching it move and expand, and all the color move out into where the water is. And you can see right there's a little bit of water just sitting. I've even let go of some of it. Oh, I think that's so cool the way that turns out. Okay, let's get the rest of this piece of paper covered, because I want to show you what we're going to do with the salt too. Oof, it's hard to get the whole thing covered in color because I've got this little itty bitty brush. Almost there, I promise. If you're following along at home, I wonder how far you've gotten with your paper. Maybe you're already done. Maybe you have already painted the whole picture. Or maybe you just wanted to do a little bit of it. That's all right. Yeah, you know what? I like the way all those colors are mixed. I'm gonna put my water down. What I'm gonna do actually, I wanna see if I can just stir it up some more. move it around a little bit because you can see like with the green, I went back and forth that way, so I'm gonna go a different way. See if you can see that I'm going that way now. Yeah, you see I go back and forth. You can see up here it's already dry even. Uh-oh. Can't let it get dry. All right, so before this gets too dry, I'm gonna add a little bit of water back to the top. You want your paper to be, you know, not soaking wet, because, you know, pictures don't hardly turn out very, not the way you want them to look, I suppose, when they're very wet, which is okay. You know, a picture never has to look the way you want it to look, because sometimes happy little accidents like that happen, and we end up liking what we made better. But you want it to be wet enough. Okay, there we go. Because we're gonna drop the salt on there. So I'm just gonna take a couple pinches and sprinkle, 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 sprinkle. Let's see. Just, it's hard to see what's going on, but I'm just sprinkling a little salt. Bam. Salt Bay. Just, as I've got some on my fingers. You can see the colors on my fingers too, and just even maybe flicking it straight on there. Let's see. And you can choose how much salt you want to put on there, you know. I'm going to add some more because I really, really want to see what happens. So I want to give it a lot of opportunity to show me what will happen when I put salt on my watercolor picture. You can see some of that salt there. Ooh, like that, like right up there in the ridges. Okay. Now this activity takes a little bit of patience. We're gonna have to wait for this to dry to see what really happens when you have salt on your watercolor picture. I even have another piece of paper maybe that I'm going to color up for you guys so you can see what happens, maybe with some different colors. I wonder if different colors will do different things. So we're gonna have to come back to this, which should be really soon with you. I'll have to wait in real time. But for you, let's do our magic trick so that you don't have to wait any longer, okay? Let's see, let's count to 3, all right? And then when we're all done counting to 3, it will be all dry. 1, 2, 3. I'm back. It's been a couple hours actually for me since I've checked my pictures, but for you it's only been a couple of seconds because we worked our magic. So let me show you what happened to our picture. Wow, check that out. Look up here where the brown is. It kind of looks like they've got a bunch of spots. Let me show you. I did another picture with red, blue, and purple because I know a lot of our friends like that. You see the spots a lot in the red. So why did the salt do that to our watercolors? Well, and I think the brown is a really good way to look at that. So salt acts kind of like a sponge. Whenever it's in or near water, it soaks it all up and absorbs it. Have you ever gone to the movie theaters and had a big bowl of popcorn, and then when you ate it all up, you said, "I'm really thirsty"? That's because the salt that you ate that was on the popcorn, it absorbed the water that was in your body and in your mouth. So it made your body go, "I need water." It was a lot like how when I tasted the salt, I said, "Oh, that's salty," and you saw me drink water. So go ahead and try it out at home. See what kind of pictures you get. I'd love to see it. Make sure you comment below with pictures and test out with different colors. See what it looks like. Thanks for joining me, guys. Bye.